The How to Read a Book was written by Mortimer J. Adler and Charles Van Doren. The authors wanted to help people understand books more deeply and get the most out of reading. They believed that reading is not just about looking at words on a page, but about thinking and learning from what we read. Many people go through life reading without really grasping the full meaning of what they are reading. This book aims to change that by teaching a methodical way to engage with books and ideas. The book begins by explaining that not all reading is the same. There are different levels of reading, and each level requires a different approach. The authors divide reading into 4 levels: elementary reading, inspectional reading, analytical reading, and syntopical reading. Each level builds on the one before it, helping readers move from simply recognizing words to deeply understanding complex ideas. The goal of these levels is to provide a clear structure that anyone can follow to improve their reading skills. Elementary reading is the first level. It is the basic ability to read words and understand their meanings. Most people learn this in school when they are young. However, the authors say that just knowing how to read words is not enough. Many people stop at this level, never pushing themselves to read more complex materials. To really learn from books, we need to go beyond this first level and strive for deeper understanding. At this stage, a person can read simple books, follow instructions, and understand basic written communication. However, more advanced reading requires more effort and strategy. The second level is inspectional reading. This means quickly looking through a book to get a general idea of what it is about. This can be done in 2 ways: skimming and superficial reading. Skimming means looking at the table of contents, chapter titles, introduction, and conclusion to understand the main ideas without reading everything in detail. For example, if someone picks up a history book about World War II, they might skim through the chapter headings to see what periods and battles the book covers. Superficial reading, on the other hand, means reading quickly without stopping to look up difficult words or concepts. This method helps readers get through a book quickly to determine if it is worth reading more carefully later. The authors emphasize that inspectional reading is not about being lazy. Instead, it is about being efficient and making the best use of time. The third level is analytical reading. This is a deeper way of reading, where readers try to fully understand a book. The authors give several steps for analytical reading. First, readers should identify the type of book they are reading. Is it fiction or nonfiction? Is it history, science, or philosophy? Knowing this helps readers approach the book in the right way. Next, readers should find the main ideas of the book and how the author supports these ideas. They should also look at the structure of the book, how it is organized, and how each part connects to the whole. Finally, readers should ask questions about the book and think about its arguments. This helps them not only understand the book, but also form their own opinions about it. For example, if someone is reading a philosophy book by Aristotle, they should not just memorize what Aristotle said, but also think about whether his arguments make sense and how they compare to other philosophers' ideas. The fourth and highest level is syntopical reading. The word syntopical was created by the authors by combining syn and topic to describe this method of reading. This concept involves bringing together different sources to examine a subject from multiple perspectives. This means reading multiple books on the same topic and comparing their ideas. It is the most advanced way to read. The authors suggest several steps for syntopical reading. First, readers should choose a topic they want to learn about. Then, they should find different books on that topic and compare what each book says. Instead of just accepting one author's point of view, syntopical readers think critically and form their own understanding of the subject. This level of reading is often used by scholars, researchers, and people who want to deeply explore a subject. For instance, if a person wants to understand democracy, they should not just read one book on the topic. Instead, they should read books by different authors, such as John Locke, Alexis de Tocqueville, and contemporary political thinkers, to compare different perspectives. This method allows readers to form a well-rounded understanding rather than relying on a single source. The authors also talk about different kinds of books and how to read them. They explain that fiction, poetry, history, science, philosophy, and practical books all require different approaches. For example, when reading fiction, readers should focus on the story, characters, and emotions it creates. A novel like Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen should be read with attention to its themes, character development, and social context. When reading history, readers should look at the facts, sources, and point of view of the historian. If a history book on the American Revolution has a strong bias, the reader should recognize this and compare it to other historical accounts. When reading philosophy, they should carefully follow the arguments and think about the logical connections between ideas. Understanding these differences helps readers get the most out of every book they read. Another important idea in the book is active reading. The authors say that reading should not be passive. Readers should always ask questions, take notes, and think about what they read. A good reader does not just absorb information, but interacts with it, making connections and forming their own thoughts. For example, when reading a book about personal finance, instead of just accepting advice, a reader should consider how the advice applies to their own life and whether the author's assumptions make sense. The book also gives advice on how to mark a book. The authors encourage readers to underline important points, write notes in the margins, and summarize key ideas. They believe that marking a book helps readers remember what they have learned and makes it easier to review later. While some people think writing in a book is bad, the authors argue that it is a sign of truly engaging with the text. For example, a student studying a psychology textbook might highlight key concepts and write summaries next to difficult passages to better understand them. In the final part of the book, the authors discuss how reading can be a lifelong journey. They say that even though schools teach basic reading, true learning happens when people continue reading and thinking throughout their lives. They encourage readers to challenge themselves with difficult books, keep asking questions, and never stop learning. By continuously reading and engaging with new ideas, people can expand their knowledge and grow intellectually throughout their lives. The book helps readers go beyond surface-level understanding and engage deeply with ideas. It gives readers the tools they need to understand complex subjects, think critically, and continue learning throughout their lives. By following the methods in this book, people can improve not only their reading skills, but also their ability to understand and analyze the world around them.